Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this new appointment and to this new webinar that is Gait Analysis, a keystone in modern orthopedic assessment. I would like to introduce to you Dr. Gunnar Wildenau that is today with us. Thank you, Doctor, for being here, and welcome to the webinar.
Thank you, Alessandro. It's my pleasure to be here and to be given the chance to do this webinar. Hello to everyone. And today I want to give you a little bit insight into our daily practice. Since I do have an orthopedic background, this will be fairly pragmatic. And if there's no more questions, I would start. So the headline is Gait Analysis, a keystone in modern orthopedic assessment. So I want to start with going into what we are usually doing in orthopedics and what we should be doing. So that's why I also chose a second topic. Muybridge is still alive. As you might be aware, Edward Muybridge in 1870 was still using silver alginate photography to get a first analysis of movement patterns of gait and in humans as well as animals. Now, what are we doing today? Today, we're doing two-dimensional static analysis to actually be able to extrapolate or to evaluate movement patterns. What I do when I see a X-ray of a lumbar spine, we usually just get two views and say, okay, give me the computer that can actually extrapolate the movement and function of that structure. I think we do not have a single computer on this planet that's able to do that. All my colleagues can do, I can't. So we're looking for dynamic tools to screen our patients, and dynamic MRI scans are not available as of yet in a sufficient number, and also I think we are lacking financial means to actually use these devices. So maybe in 100 years we'll be better equipped, but for now we're completely lacking any objective tools to do dynamic analysis of movements, of the gait patterns of our patients. Okay, so now I want to give you an overview of how we try to get actually a little bit deeper view on things, on our patients, so as to enable us to help our patients a little bit more profounded. Now, the everyday patient in orthopedics, if there wasn't a trauma, is not for surgery. About 90% of our patients are not for surgery. 90% is also about the number of patients that we see that do have impairments of the spine, or actually one can say we do have 100%. We do have about 100% pathology in the spine in the human population of this planet, meaning since we are not walking on four legs, since we're not swimming in zero gravity in the ocean any longer, and we are using actual compression on the spine, we actually do have 100% rate of pathology in the human population on this planet. So now, what are the screening tools that we use to actually get a better view on the function of the spine, on the function of the pelvis, of the iliosacral joints, of the whole system? As you are well aware of, the human body is a system of 30 billion cells working like a swarm of fish, and every single cell does have a function in that system. So what we are being taught in med school, the hand, we do have a hand, we do have a foot, we do have a finger, we have a toe, and that's all independent of each other, is maybe a little bit simplified. So actually, there is one system, and every cell needs the other cell. Okay, I don't want to continue on that too much. Just want to go into what we're actually doing. So when I do see a patient who comes with back pain, well, the first step is, of course, we look at an X-ray. We're not, of course, if he comes in, has a limb, if he had a stroke, if he has a Trendelenburg gait, yeah, we would send him off to the neurologist. That's not my specialty. So, but once he comes in with dysfunction of the spine, if he comes in with dysfunction of his body or of the bones and joints, and then that's where I have to jump in. And usually we start with a 3D scan to see what's being transmitted to the exoskeleton. So we do a posture scan, and we measure in millimeters and degrees where we do have deviations, where we do have actual deviations from the normal, and we do a 3-dimensional scan. We see is there any torsions, which structures are involved, where we do have the primary lesion in the body, where's the secondary pattern that's actually then transmitted all over the body. And as you can see, the 3-dimensional scan is a very useful tool. We can actually take a human being and reduce him to 12 centimeters, go on top of him and see and measure angles and get a deeper understanding of what is actually wrong with this person. Now, of course, we use the everyday or the traditional analysis as well. Of course, that's a natural given. Our X-ray analysis is not so much that we are hunting for degenerative changes, that we are hunting for tumors or fractures. If we are looking for functions, we can on the endoskeleton, we are looking for extension and flexion views of the cervical spine as well as the lumbar spine, and then we do measure for pathologies. Is there a deviation from the normal range of motion? Is there maybe a lateral deviation? Is there AP deviation? And all this can be all this depicted on a report, which we do give our patients so that they can see what is going on with their body. And in my understanding, this is the most accurate measurement we have available today. Although I've been told I'm the only person in all of Germany who's using this software. So maybe maybe all my colleagues can do this with their eyes and not with computers. But I need these little tools to help myself and my patients to understand what's going on. You can see this on the lumbar spine. We can measure for deviations, and as you can see here, this person's a bit hyperlordotic. Now, once we've done the 3D scan, we do have first analysis. We do start treatment. Now you can resort to all that is available in medicine: osteopathy, chiropractic, physiotherapy, training regimens. And I think the main motive here is we need to do something on a daily basis. See, if you want to bring somebody to the Olympics and you tell him to maybe do physiotherapy once every other week, you will never get him to get the gold medal, right? So if you want to heal your patients, they need to do something on a daily basis. And that sometimes is the hardest step to communicate. So once the patients are or pass our screening tools, three-dimensional scan, static scan, and X-ray scan, if everything is according to guidelines, then say, okay, now we don't have too many bouncers around us, so most people have to move. They don't have to stand still all day, and so we actually have to see how do these structures function. So that's where the G-Walk device comes in extremely handy. So this device, we only have to attach it to the lumbar spine L5S1. So it gives us the option to measure the movement of the pelvis, the sacral bone, and the lumbar spine. And the time that you need to attach this this device to the patient and to do the measurement is actually not an extended time interval. So you can actually do this on almost every patient every day, as we do. 8 weeks down into treatment, this is our standard screening tool. We do go to the treadmill and let people or patients walk in 2 speeds, slow speed and maybe slow pace running, as to simulate 2 different gait patterns and to simulate different weight bearing onto onto the pelvis. And what we see, this is this patient that has been cleared by all our static analytic tools, and now we think he's fine, and we go over to start our dynamic procedures. And if we let him walk or her walk at a slow pace, we still see we do have a bit of a problem with the tilt. So it's still hyperlordotic. You remember the X-ray, right? The range of motion is okay. And we do have a problem with the pelvic flexion. So we still have a problem with the iliosacral joints, with the sacral bone, which might still be twisted. And that might still lead to one leg being further down than the other, or some of the radiologists might claim on a 2-dimensional X-ray that one leg might be shorter than the other one, which is just maybe a wrong analysis of a 2-dimensional X-ray. I always say, if you take a picture, 2-dimensional picture of a table and measure the length of the legs of the table, then the legs that are a little bit further behind in the picture will be shorter than ones up front. If you then take a saw and shorten the legs in front, then the table might not look the way it should, right? So, but some people still do that on our patients. The rotation, for me, is mainly a function of the lumbar spine. It does give us valuable hints towards the functional status of the lumbar spine. Now, this is at a slow pace, and sometimes if there's a lot of degenerative changes and you let people run or walk at a bit quicker pace, there's more weight loading on these structures, and maybe the iliosacral joints start moving a little bit better. So actually, if you do a quicker or fast pace, it might become better, but in this case, you can see it is deteriorating. You still have the hyperlordosis, the pelvic flexion is getting worse, and the rotation is still limited. So in this patient, there's still a lot to do. Treatment has just started, and I would suggest we need another 8 to 12 weeks to actually get the function back to normal. Now, sometimes we still, once we're done with the spine, we also do the dynamic pedobarography to see if there's still something wrong with the feet. We do this at the end of our treatment. That's my philosophy. I think all functions of the body are actually being performed, or say the highest priority is on the brain. The brain is actually responsible for everything in the body. That means we have 200 times more proprioceptors per square centimeter of muscle tissue in the first 2 segments of the cervical spine than in the rest of the body, which actually supports my theory that the entire body is actually reacting to the position of the head. But that, I think, that is up to negotiation. In our practice, we do this at the end to see if there's still something to do for the feet. but the main analytic tool for us is once a patient has been cleared by the static and dynamic static tools, we use the G-walk with Gait Analysis to get a good picture of the functional status of the entire spine and pelvis. That's it from my side. Thanks.
Okay, I would like to thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Gunnar. Thank you all, and hope to see you very soon.